Hello and welcome to Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Dablola Okunshakin. And here on Today in the News, we read and give in-depth analysis on some of the stories making waves across Nigeria. This morning on the paper review, I'm starting with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with Tinubu extends olive branch to Atiku, Obi and Kwankwaso. Promises to work day and night for Nigerians. Tinubu tells Nigerian youth, I hear you loud and clear. Pledges open door policy, wealth creation and jobs. Set up reconciliation committee to meet with Atiku, others, and that's coming from Akeredolu. Oshibanjo, Senate, Oshiomole, others salute President-elect. British Prime Minister Sunak congratulates Tinubu. Tinubu's election, a new dawn in Nigeria. That's coming from IBB. You can see that on page 25. And on page 9, RFI committee's reports. President-elect must respect party supremacy. APC vice chairman is saying that. Reps majority leader Doguwa remanded in prison. That can be seen on page 7. And stories above, presidential poll losers should go to court, not streets. That's coming from Buhari. Poll will retrieve our mandate in court. Obidati vow. Atiku to supporters, remain calm. We'll reclaim our stolen mandates. Those stories can be seen on pages 8. Others kill volunteer guards member, 6 others in Benue's villages. That can be seen on page 6. Stories below. 10 Senate, APC leads with 51 slots as PDP gets 27, Labour Party 7, NNPP 3, SDP 2, YPP 1, and ABGA 1. OLU FASAN on page 16. Buhari promised credible presidential poll but delivers a sham. Lastly, on Vanguard of Sports, Al Ittihad offer Messi $94 million per year. And that story can be seen on page 19. Now, away from Vanguard newspaper, we'll move to the Guardian newspaper. And the Guardian this morning is leading with Tinubu extends olive branch, invites youths to rescue Nigeria. Yaga Africa contradicts INEC on River Imo results. We have lost confidence in INEC. Situation room declares. Protesters storm Abuja Unity Fountain and Niger demand fresh election. Buhari losers should take their grievances to court, not streets. APC sets up committee to meet aggrieved presidential candidates. Your attributes needed at this time, Shibanjo congratulates Tinubu. Obi breaks silence, promises to address Nigerians. Dati vows to use legal means to reclaim mandate, tackles Lawan for trying to rewrite the Electoral Act. You can see that story on the front page and it continues on page 6. Stories below, we have TUC disclose presidential poll results as NLC greets elected Labour Party mayor lawmakers. That can be seen on page 4. Stories above. Election results collated in people's homes. Labour Party chieftain allergies. That can be seen on page 7. Lastly, on the Guardian newspaper, Tinubu taxed on APC overall inclusive administration. That can be seen on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. Away from there, let's move to the Punch. The Punch newspaper this morning is leading with Tinubu rules Atiku Obi as parties reject results. PDP, Labour Party, NNPP, others refuse to sign election results sheet in Abuja. Buhari, Oshibajo, United Kingdom, ECOWAS, Senate, governors congratulate President-elect. Obi campaign Moore's legal battle as Tinubu visits Buhari in Daura. You can see that story on pages 2 and 13. And on page 7, Emilokon, the kingmaker who became king. Stories above on page 29. Bank asset rise to 73 trillion naira. That's coming from CBN. And lastly, on the Punch newspaper, Obi, the trainer, who changed the game. That can be seen on page 12. And lastly, let's look at the nation. The nation this morning is leading with I hear you loud and clear. President-elect tells youth. Young Nigerians will get full attention. Tinubu promises good governance and functional economy, also security. President-elect, Vice President gets COR. On page 4, and you can see that Jam sacks 2 over alleged forgery. A cited Oshun Ondo resident celebrates Tinubu. You can see that story on page 9. And on page 5, poll results reflect will of Nigerians, says Buhari. United Kingdom Prime Minister Macron, IBB hailed Tinubu and Shetima. Lastly, on the front page of the Nation newspaper, FEC OK's African Union Convention on Cross-Border Cooperation. That can be seen on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Join us after the break for the analysis with our guest. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Okunshakin. Joining me this morning to analyze the front pages of the dailies is Mr. Oludari Mayowa. He's the publisher of Global Financial Digest. Good morning, Mr. Mayowa.
Good morning, and thanks for having me today.
Yes, thank you for joining us. And of course, Tinubu extends olive branch to Atiku Obi Kwankwaso after his victory. What do you think about this? I mean, despite the fact that they've told them other parties to go to court, if they are not satisfied with the results.
Thank you very much. For me, that is the way to go, really. In circumstances like this, the winner should extend the olive leaf to the losers, so-called losers, and we need to build stability. We need to remember that our country has gone through crisis. Is there a post-election crisis? In 2011, we know how many people died as a result of crisis, violence, reaction to the result of the election. So I think the way the Tinubu, the president-elect, has done the right thing by extending the olive leaf to other contestants to say, hey, we can work together. Let's just build this program together. I think that's the right thing to do.
Well, all right, but since the other parties are not satisfied with the result of the election, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, they have the right to go to the tribunal to challenge the court case. Since they cannot, because the option available, there are two options available to the Atiku and Obi and the rest. Election. When you are dissatisfied with the election, you either express that through street protest, through demonstration, through violent reaction, which is not advisable. You can equally demonstrate that by expressing that by going to tribunal, because that's the arbiter, the person that can advocate over the issue. So they are right in their own right. They have the freedom to go and challenge the case in court. That yes, this is the evidence. They go there and carry their evidence to the court and the tribunal and say, look, based on this and this and this, these are evidence that this person did not qualify or did not win the election. It's as simple as that. And for me, that's the right way to go, really.
All right. President Muhammadu Buhari is saying that losers should go to court and not the streets. A lot of people are not expecting this to come from the president. I mean, anytime the cases go to court, the results Nigerians are not usually satisfied with. So a lot of people have this, they have been saying a lot about what the president has said.
Personally, I have a different view over that. What do you expect the president to say? To say people should go to the street to fight? Or that's the only, they have two options, like I said earlier. There are two options available to lose out the election. Either you go to court to challenge the manipulation, or you mobilize your supporters to go to the street and cause mayhem. And for us, the option that is very, very situated to us is for them to go to court. So, our sentiment about the tribunal, the court, notwithstanding, that's the only place to seek justice. And we should only pray that the court, the tribunal, will eventually give justice to those who deserve it. That should be our prayer. Because the alternative is very clear, it's foreboding for all of us. For example, there is a riot in Lagos today, business will close down. People will lose property, they will lose lives and the rest. That's not what we need at this time of the time of our development. So for me, advice to go to tribunals, to go to court to challenges is the right thing to do. For example, the president cannot intervene arbitrarily. If he intervene at this level, he's not in his position to intervene. He cannot do anything to stop the election or to abort it. The baby has already been given back to. It's for us to say, no, this is not the right baby. or the baby you give back to is before. Let us go back to surgery and amend those defection in the baby you have given back to. That's the option we have. Or if you say you want to cause the baby as long as you have given back to is defective, then you want to throw the baby away with the bath water. Then for me, that's not the right option for us. That's what we should do. I think the right thing for us to do, for the opposition to do, is to go to court and to challenge the case, regardless of our feeling about the court, and that hopefully, and go with the evidence. Who said that they may not win in the tribunal?
All right. Olufaso says Buhari promised credible presidential poll but delivers a sham. Are you satisfied with the election so far, with the result and the whole process?
Let me tell you this. I've told a few of my friends about this thing. In my neck of wood, on Saturday, actually recorded a counting of ballot result at that particular vote, polling unit. And I had the video evidence on my tape. Really, I even posted on social media. I posted on Saturday. I posted on Twitter and the rest. And visited the INEC RF today. Yesterday. Found this between what were recorded for each political party and what was actually the actual result at the polling booth. For me, it's the evidence that closer home to me that showed that manipulation in the election. It may be one off thing. It may be general. I don't know. I'm just giving that this one is very close to me. Destabilize me. Say, look, something was wrong with the election, and it's very glaring in all situations. I did analysis today, and on the election, my position in it, I did a very long analysis on the whole thing, and people have been actually reacting to it, which actually documents our observation. Our reporters went out. I went out to conduct observation and the rest. And what we saw on the field was different from what the government, the INEC promised the people. So for me, it's very glaring that some manipulation. Who the election was manipulated for is what we need to prove now. All the opposition, all those who have intended to go to tribunal and prove. But it was glaring that was manipulation, or level of manipulation in the election.
All right, let me take a comment from one of our viewers, Sandra Fred. She says, going to court, is it going to work? They will delay the case. And this is the opinion of many Nigerians.
I'm going to ask people that what is the available option for people, for the opposition? If they say, okay, the court can't give us justice, this can happen, what is the available option for us? That's what I say. There are two main options available. It's to either go to court or go to the street. But we go to the street be for the benefit of all of us. Will it bring justice? We see what happened during the exercise. Youth went on the street, peacefully protesting, but ended in disaster. And have they reformed the SARS today? It's fully better than it was 2020. Are the youth getting justice now? These are the questions we need to ask ourselves. The only option for today, whether we like it or not, is either viable for us or not. The only viable option for us today is the tribunal. And the whole world will be watching. The whole world will be listening. And they will see that if the opposition could be able to muster and galvanize their position and say, look, these are evidence we gather all over the country that this election was manipulated and present it before the tribunal. Then let the tribunal judge. People will understand now that something has gone wrong. But going for me, there's no alternative for us today. The best alternative, the other alternative for us is to go to the street and cause men and probably invite the military to take over the country. Would our condition be better off by that option? I say no.
All right, let's end this on a lighter note with Mr. and Mrs. The first person speaking this morning is Mrs. She says, I have told you times without number that I am self-reliant. I am not good at asking for assistance. Mr. replied, this relationship is not normal anymore. I know you are the general manager of a blue chip company. but I'm your husband. Let me settle the bills at least for once in 10 years.
Wow. Then your admission of failure in 10 years is something else. But it's a good end to a very wonderful time, really.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Bayo, for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me today.
Yes, and this is where we have to draw the curtain. Do what to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. On Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, our WhatsApp number is also displayed on your screen. But of course, we have election decides, and of course, we're reviewing the election in series. It's coming up soon in the next 10 minutes, so don't go anywhere. My name is Damlola Okushaki. We'll be back.